Hey everyone, Sheldon here, and this is another video on the paper M1911. So, as you can see, I've made a lot of progress on this. I made a lot of components for it, so like the slide stop, the plunger tube, the thumb safety, grip safety, mainspring housing, the magazine release, the hammer, the sear, and the disconnector. Those little pieces that go inside the plunger tube, I actually just used little sections of cut off nails and then rounded them off. And I also added some layers to the barrel bushing to make it look more symmetrical, so it's not like coming out or there's a gap there. It looks pretty nice now. And I did actually end up replacing the follower in here with a homemade one, because the other one was kind of rounded and it didn't really catch onto the interior surface of the slide stop very well. So this little notch right there pushes up on this little surface that's in there. And without the magazine in there, the recoil spring works like it should. And when you put the magazine in there, that little piece right there pushes up on that interior piece, which is part of the slide stop here. So when you pull the slide back, that piece locks up into that notch right there. And then when you push that piece down, the slide goes forward like it should. So it works pretty well. Sometimes it gets a little stuck, but for the most part, it seems to work. And I also made the extractor, which you can see right there, and the ejector, and there's the top of the disconnector. The extractor is made out of just paper actually, because it needs to flex a little bit, and it seems to work really well. The ejector is also just made out of paper. There is a paper clip reinforcement in there to make it stronger, and you can see the end of the firing pin right there, and also this side of the firing pin I put some paint marker there because it's just easier to see. And there's also the back side of the ejector right there, and that's the back side of the extractor. And when you pull the trigger, you have to push in the grip safety, which springs out like this. So you push that in and then you're able to pull the trigger like this. And when you cock the hammer back like this, it stays back because the sear is engaged on the hammer. So you push in the grip safety and you're able to pull the trigger. So I zoomed out a little bit so you can see it better. And it works really well, and it's pretty satisfying to finally see that work. The thumb safety works. You cock the hammer back, you push that up into place, the slide can't go back, and you also can't pull the trigger until you push that down and disengage it, and then the hammer can drop. And you can also see that there is a little bit of tension on the firing pin because there's a firing pin spring in there, so that depresses like that when the hammer disengages and it just hits on there, and that's what would strike the cap or the primer. And the grips are made out of cereal box cardboard, or in this case cardboard from a soda box. So I had a bunch of cans of soda in there, and then I just cut out a bunch of pieces and rounded it off. And it's not like perfectly smooth yet, but I still just need to go around and polish the whole thing to make it look a lot better. But for now, it works pretty well. And this one was made from a Cheez-It box. I have some plastic reference ones that are from an airsoft gun, which these were actually just a little bit too small in comparison to the blueprint. So I might do some checkering on here, or I might end up just polishing these and making them nice and smooth, or painting them. It just depends on where I'm at. Alright, so now I'm just going to show you some basic function tests. So here are the snap caps I have, and they're not real rounds. They have a little rubber piece in place of where the primer is. It's just for function testing. This doesn't even come out of here. It's just one solid piece. So you just put them in the magazine like this. So you got to push the follower down a little bit and just put these in place. And then you just take this and you put it in here like that, and it clicks into place with the magazine release, so it's not going to come out until you push it down like that. It doesn't fully free fall yet. I guess I'll just have to sand the inside of the magazine well a little bit. And when you pull the slide back like this, you can see that little face right there is what is going to go behind the round in the magazine, and it will catch onto the back and push it forward into the chamber. So it just goes back like this. You'll hear it click like that. Then it goes forward like this, and it just went into the chamber, and then you just pull it out and it extracts and ejects. Okay, so now you can see, since the slide is back again, it's already behind that rim of the cartridge, and that little rectangular piece on the bottom of this breech face just hooks onto there again. So let's see if I can do this a little bit slower to show it actually go up. So it pushes up, and well, you can kind of see it there. So it goes into the chamber, and the extractor is already hooked on there. So if you pull this back, you can see it's pulling there, that little piece, and it comes out, and it hits the ejector, which is over here, which hits that side of the cartridge, which causes it to fly out like that. So there's the ejector right there. So it's the same thing. That piece just pushes the cartridge into the chamber, and with that knowledge of the ejector, now hopefully you can imagine how it just knocks the cartridge out. So it just, you do that again, and you pull it, and if I do it slow-ish, I can just do that, and it just kind of ramps off of that. Then the last one doesn't usually work, something to do with the spring tension, and it just kind of got to turn it like that, and then it just seems to work. Okay, now I'm just going to show you how it functions just a little bit faster. So I'll just do the same thing. So just pull it back, goes in there, ejects out. And there it is. And to show you sort of the function of what the hammer would do with one round in here, well, in the chamber anyway, this would go back, and it's in the chamber like that, and that's when you would need to push on the grip safety in order to be able to pull the trigger, or else it just wouldn't fire. So you have to push that in, then the hammer would go and strike the firing pin, which would hit the primer, which, well, that's hard to see right now, but just that little piece there. And since these aren't real, it's not going to do anything. It just, you pull the trigger, and basically it would just discharge, and there you go. Now, if I actually made some paper cartridges, which I'm going to do soon, I'll just put like a cap as the primer there, and that should be enough pressure to at least launch a projectile out of there, but it probably wouldn't be enough pressure to actually allow the slide to push back on its own using the pressure of the cap going off. You could also use some match head powder, that would work too. I haven't really experimented with that, but basically you wouldn't have to pull the slide back on your own. It would just come out, and the cartridge would eject out, and then it would automatically just load the next one in, and it would just keep functioning. But for a paper M1911, it's really satisfying, and I'm really happy to finally be able to see it at this point. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you so much for watching this, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section below or in a personal message, and be sure to subscribe if you'd like to see all the latest updates, and I'll see you guys in the next video.